Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. It's Teresa here with my third and final layout for the Traci Reed Designs Love Potion launch. This is the layout I created for the Instagram hop that the creative team did. And so I thought you would enjoy seeing the background process of creating this layout. So first off, I based the entire layout on the heart clouds in this collection. And I did a couple of things with them. I duplicated the shapes and cropped my 3 photos to that heart-shaped cloud shape. And then I also did the same with some of the pattern papers. I printed and cut some of the other heart-shaped elements in the collection that you can see laid out here. The floral wreath in the shape of a heart. And as you can tell, this is very much a heart-shaped, love-themed layout here. The photos I'm using are taken from Mother's Day of 2024 with myself and my husband. I think River took these photos for us, so that's awesome to have them. And then you can see just an assortment of embellishments, stickers and alleys from the collection that I printed out. And I'm working on a plain white background. This is Recollections brand cardstock. I've been experimenting with their cardstock lately just because it's something that I can easily go and match to other collections in person. And so I'm going to work with that today with just a plain white background. My goal is for the hearts to pop off of the page and just have a little bit of white space in between each one. I'm doing a basic grid layout. This is a very peaceful way of presenting information on a page. That's one of the reasons we love grid layouts so much. It's just organized and it makes sense. So what I'm doing here is trying to figure out how do I want to lay out a little grid for each shape so that they're kind of mostly in line somewhat. I say that loosely because obviously the shapes that aren't the heart clouds are a little bit bigger or smaller. And so just trying to figure out how that needed to go. I just drew a basic light grid and created a cross where or an X mark where the center lines, where the center points of each element should fall. And I think that'll be good enough. I think that will give me enough of a guideline. It's kind of hard to see it here because it's so light. There are some lines that fall outside of the shapes, so I can very easily go back and erase those after the layout is done. So before I start gluing things down, I want to just check and make sure that I have everything where I planned for it to go. I did lay this out in the Silhouette software before printing and cutting, just so that I could size the elements properly. And it was also a little bit easier to crop the pattern papers and the photos to these shapes in the Silhouette software. That is possible to lay out a page design in Silhouette, just like this. just using the crop tools and sizing the pattern papers down to a smaller size so that you see the patterns better in the heart shape. I'm sorry that it kind of fell off of the page here. I will adjust that here in a moment so you can see the whole layout together. But here I am just gauging and making sure that everything at least looks mostly like it's in a straight line. I'm of the philosophy that it doesn't have to be perfect. I've stated that many times in the past. And so let's get going on putting this thing together. I am going to speed up this part of the process just a little bit because literally all I'm doing here is adhering the cloud shapes onto the page and then adhering the vellum shapes directly on top. I am just using my Tombow tape runner here. You could stitch them, of course, or staple them before adding them to your page or after adding them to your page. But I felt like I'm just keeping it simple today and really happy with how it's turning out. The guidelines that I created are definitely helping me at least kind of get them mostly in line, and still keeping a little bit of a border around each one, but it still makes sense as a grid. Something that I didn't really notice until I started putting it together is that it's actually a 4x5 grid. But that's cool. It's all right. It still counts as a grid. I think originally what I was thinking about doing was actually doing a 4x4 grid and then having the bottom part as journaling. And I'm not sure where I went off track for that. So I do have a little bit of challenge ahead of me to try to figure out where and how I'm going to journal on this page. But truth be told, I might actually keep the journaling really simple. We'll see how that ends up turning out. For the vellum hearts, they are just the same pattern papers repeated, printed onto vellum and cut out using the silhouette, and then again adhered with the tape runner. And then you'll notice how I'm folding them up a little bit, just to add another element of dimension here to the page, which of course is one of my favorite things. So at this point, I've got some opportunities to embellish. I do also need to erase I need to erase some of the little pencil lines. You guys, this Pentel eraser, I was turned on to this eraser in college back in the mid-90s, and it's still to this day my favorite. It's a Pentel. It looks just a plain, I'm sorry, it's not yeah, it is Pentel. It's a high polymer eraser, and the thing just does not leave any residue. It doesn't mess up your paper. It's very soft and gentle, and so I highly recommend that eraser. Deciding where to add embellishments here. And notice I do have the heart-shaped locket at the bottom. I'm debating whether or not to add the key to that. But most of the embellishments I'm going to center on the photos or around the photos, simply to keep the emphasis on those. The cloud hearts are supporting actors and actresses at this point. So I'm just going to add a very simple word strip with a flower or a heart to each one. The little tiny icons came in really handy at this juncture. There's also these adorable little bows. I could totally see making enamel dots with those little bows. I'm debating whether or not to use one or two of those, because they're just so cute, and that one fit perfectly by what I consider the main photo, which is where we're actually looking at the camera. The others are kind of tongue-in-cheek. And look, there's a second bow as well. Again, debating about that key and the heart-shaped locket. I don't know what I'm doing. Go back and forth. And that's a part of the fun of the product play, and just trying different things and having a good time with it. I do have some labels printed out, but I'm not really sure that I see where they belong on this page. That's kind of what I'm thinking at this part. I'm also feeling like the layout, the edge of the layout on all four sides just kind of disappears. And so to help establish kind of a frame and help establish the boundary of the layout, what I want to do is stamp some lines around the page. And this is a fun little trick. You guys know I love using line stamps and including them in my stash and in my layout. These are some of the stamps from LA Studio that I've had in my stash. I was debating whether or not to stamp the whole grid with this line stamp, but in the end I decided just to go around the outer edge, and I think that was a very wise idea. This line stamp has hearts and a dotted line, so it's kind of a fun little detail around the page. And I am just using plain black archival ink, just to keep it simple, and just every layout, I always say every layout, every outfit, every room that you decorate needs a little bit of black and white. And so this is a nod to that. Another one of the things that I say a lot. That would actually be a fun little mini series to do about adding a little bit of black and white to every layout. And so you can see already how this is shaping up, and actually that was a really good decision. Some of the parts I'm masking off a little bit, and that finishes that frame perfectly, I thought. So then I had the idea as well to use some of the other stamps and just do a little scattering of heart stamps, much like I would have done with enamel dots or puffy stickers here. Just having fun with it, no real rhyme or reason. But again, I think to repeat the black throughout the page a little bit more, and creating some repetition with the black ink. A little stamped cinnamon in the center of the heart-shaped wreath. I love that. So cute. So many adorable little elements within this layout, that your eye stays there for a few minutes, trying to take it all in, and just having a good time. That nothing is too serious on this layout. Notice the photo at the bottom where I'm kind of holding my hand up so that privacy please. So nothing is too serious on this page, and it lends a lightheartedness to our creativity. Just, I hope, inspiring you to have fun, to use your supplies in a lighthearted, unexpected way. Use the grid, but then go off the grid as well. And then the last little thing here is, of course, the journaling. And all I'm going to do is add the event, which is Mother's Day, and the location of this little impromptu photo shoot. As always, thank you so much for watching. I will have links to the Love Potion collection down below for you. I hope that you'll check it out if you haven't had the chance to yet. And if you have the collection, I hope this inspires you to also make a fun heart-shaped cloud love-themed layout. I will see you back here again real soon. Bye-bye.